Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Man Bites Film. My name is Lewis.
I'm Brandon.
And we are going to actually be doing a special edition because, of course, all the craze right now is about one movie in particular, and we will be remiss if we didn't mention it and do a special about it, of course. And since it's Christmas time, this is the perfect opportunity to do a special edition of Man Bites Film. We're going to be reviewing all the Star Wars films, including the newest one. No spoilers on it at all. We're just going to be mentioning our I guess what we thought and what we felt while we were watching it without revealing anything about the film. So I don't want you guys to turn it off, and I'm completely in the black right now in regards to Facebook and all that stuff, because I refuse to watch anything about the spoilers that they're mentioning about the movie already, and I'm gonna follow that trend here. I just want to mention our feelings about the film, just in case if you haven't seen it yet.
I've seen it, but I will not go into spoilers. I'm not gonna. Well, this episode will not be about The Force Awakens, right, Lewis? It's
gonna be about The Force Awakens. That's gonna be the main feature review.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go into all the films in the Star Wars saga, and we're gonna start off with the first one, of course, the prequel, The Phantom Menace, Episode 1.
Yeah, which on IMDb has a 6.5. It is actually the lowest rated of the 7 Star Wars films.
Really? I thought it was definitely going to be Episode 2.
All
right, Brandon, what were your feelings on the film when you first watched it? Because I know this was one of the first things that you saw when you were a kid, like the big major film.
Yeah, okay, so I was about like 8 years old when Phantom Menace came out, so I was very young. I'm pretty sure, I don't remember clearly, but I'm pretty sure that I had seen the original trilogy, A New Hope.
Oh yeah,
Empire.
You did. I made you watch that.
Yeah. I remember liking it as a child, and it's funny going back to it now in my older age. I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to seem. It's not good at all, but I don't think it's the worst out of all of the prequels.
I'll give you that much. Yeah, I didn't walk out of the theater in this one, so that's a very good sign.
Yeah, I think the worst of the 6 award goes to the second one, Attack of the Clones, because that movie's fucking atrocious. But we'll get to that.
Yeah. I honestly thought it was a good movie. I thought it was a decent movie for what it was. I didn't go in expecting it to be the classics.
Yeah.
I really didn't, because you could tell it was a completely different version of Star Wars. It wasn't the same Star Wars that we grew up on.
Of course not. It's very different. The prequels are very, very different than the original trilogy.
Yes, they are.
They like very, very different. But I think like the first one has a lot of problems, which are like they introduced the villain, Darth Maul, who is like this badass like alien. Since I'm a Star Wars nerd, he's a Zabrak. That's his species. And it's the first time they introduced a double-bladed lightsaber, which everyone was like losing their fucking mind over. And
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember, dude. When we were growing up, I had like toys of that shit.
Yeah, I remember that.
I had like the foldable lightsabers.
Honestly, what did you hate about this film?
I just feel like nothing happens.
Like, I agree. I agree.
It feels.
I think the action sequences were great.
Yeah,
I thought they were freaking phenomenal. The what do you call it? The pod race scene.
Yeah, the pod race scene is probably one of the most memorable scenes of the film. It's one of the coolest scenes in the film.
Yeah. But
I just feel like nothing happens. Like it doesn't, progress the Star Wars story, or for that case, start it off. Basically, they could have started with 2, and basically said that, Anakin met Obi-Wan. They became, Obi-Wan became his master. Bada bing, bada boom. That's it. And then maybe give a slight backstory on what the Sith are, the bad guys. But overall,
what did you like? I mean, I don't think they gave a good backstory to him. Like, they just kind of go, all right, this weird creature thing, and he works for the creature thing, and that's why he's so good at mechanics and this and that and the other, and he's a pod racer suddenly. And then
It's bullshit. Like,
they're
even
what do you call it? They're hiring him as a Jedi. They're recruiting him as a Jedi because of some random
the midichlorians. Yeah, the biggest piece of shit.
I remember I thought it was like something for a pool before that. I was like, what the fuck? Is that Cloro or something? You know, it's like
God.
what?
Yeah, it's stupid.
Or microcron. That's what I thought it was. I was like, that's the shit that I put on my wound.
It's stupid. It doesn't
weird.
progress the story. It's like, oh, this kid comes out of nowhere and he's like the chosen one, and also
Just call it the Force. Why the fuck do you want to mention some random shit that nobody's ever heard of before? And you're just gonna confuse kids, and it just like what?
yeah,
What?
and also I feel like one of the biggest problems with the Phantom Menace is that the whole backstory, like everyone knows that has watched Star Wars, every episode begins with the Star Wars, and then it's the name of the film, which episode it is, and a slight summary of what happened right before the film leading up to this.
Yeah.
And I felt like with episode 1, it's all about tax, the tax federation and this and that, and it's all very political, and it's like, what happened to Star Wars?
Well, I mean, Lucas. I'm gonna go into my rant, and
Go
I
ahead.
mentioned this already before on the show. I can't stand Lucas.
I can't either.
The man is a complete klutz with films when he's directing the film.
I don't know if
as a producer and as storytelling and creating the story behind, because I mean, he created the story for Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome. Okay, Star Wars has an awesome story, but the delivery is just horrendous.
Yeah.
And the fact that everything was completely green screened, and
Yeah.
you could tell that by the actors' reactions to things, the kid was a horrible actor. And I could understand why. The kid, it's a kid, and you're putting him in front of a green screen, not showing him any type of like realism. Of course he's gonna react like that. I mean, he's a kid. I mean, even the greatest kid actor would react the same way that this kid did. I don't think he gets enough attention because of the fact that he was so horrible in this movie, but you can't blame him. You really can't.
I feel like Lucas, I thank him for creating one of the most beloved franchises in my heart. Because I love Star Wars, and I thank him for that. But
Indiana Jones too, remember that.
Yeah, and
It wasn't
Indiana...
for him, no Indiana Jones.
Yeah, and Indiana Jones also, but he's a dick. He has flat out says he does not care what his fans want. And it's like, then what is your franchise without the fans? You get me?
Oh, he created this for his kids. He said it blatantly. Said it like, this is for my kids. Fuck you if you don't like it. Too bad. I don't give a shit.
It's so
this
stupid.
This is for my kids.
Like, we could get off on a whole rant about Lucas. Like, I've read interviews with him where he's like, Star Wars is not a space opera. It's about like family issues, and I'm like, okay, yes, it's about family issues. It's about one family, but it's also a goddamn space opera, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, it is. I mean, come on. This is all based around a Japanese film.
Yeah. And
Japanese films, they're operas. They're soap operas.
Yeah.
Just Japanese, obviously.
Yeah.
But that's the only difference. And you can't tell me that the story is not a space opera, because that's what it is.
It is.
Freaking soap opera. I mean, come on. For crying out loud. Spoilers. If you've been living under a rock for the last 30 years, Leia is Luke's freaking sister. I mean, that's a classic, like, I'm talking about telenovela freaking spin on a story. I mean, that's like...
I completely agree with you.
You can't get any more cliche than that.
And
then, I am your father. That was like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I just feel like the Phantom Menace has a lot of problems. They introduce a really cool bad guy. He says not a single...
fell so flat, though. His character.
He says not a single line in the film. Not a single line is said by Darth Maul at all. And I feel like...
he doesn't even have a presence. I mean, Darth Vader had a presence.
Oh, of course,
When he was there on screen, you felt his presence. You're like, damn, that guy's a badass.
Let's not get into the most atrocious character of
no,
all
no
Star
mention
Wars.
of that. Nope, no, not gonna happen.
Like
That fucker wants. I hate Rastafarians because of that guy. That's how bad it is. All right.
it sucks. Like that character, and he's blatantly. I don't know if you know this. Lucas says that that's his favorite character in Star Wars. I'm like, I don't I don't understand that.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Lucas has literally said in interviews that he is not sorry for creating Jar Jar Binks, and that Jar Jar Binks is his favorite character in the 6 films.
Well, that explains a lot.
It's bullshit. It's such
That explains
bullshit.
a lot.
That character is fucking horrible. Oh my god.
Yes, it is. It's a really bad character. What did you really, really enjoy about this film?
About Phantom Menace?
Yes.
Huh. Like we said earlier, the pod race is a really cool scene in the film.
Yeah.
I feel like it doesn't get as much credit as it deserves because it is overshadowed by so much bad. But it's really cool to see like Anakin in this like speeder that he's created and just racing against like these aliens, and it's very dangerous. Like you see in the scene, like people are blowing up and shit, and this kid is like.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember this. Jabba actually comes out in that scene.
Yeah, he does.
He comes out in the beginning of that scene. The fight between Darth Maul, Qui-Gon, and Obi-Wan is a super cool scene.
I didn't like that. You know that? I really,
like that scene.
It was just anticlimactic in my opinion. I really didn't enjoy it. I didn't feel anything for the characters at all.
Yeah.
It was just And
Darth
honestly,
Maul,
I think. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Like I know you didn't particularly like him, and I know he doesn't say much. But Darth Maul is a cool looking villain. He's badass. He has, the double bladed lightsaber, which is pretty cool. At that time, we had never seen anything like that. And it's cool to see Obi-Wan, strike him down. This a Padawan, which I know if you're watching this video, you probably know what a Padawan is. But a Padawan is basically a Jedi Master's apprentice. If you don't know.
And living under a rock.
If you've been living under a rock for the past 16 years, because that's when they introduced that word.
They started. Yeah. So what do you rate this film on a normal scale?
5.
I'm staring at the 5 weights right in front of me still. I was thinking, I was like 5.
Yeah,
He's
5.
Say 5.
5.
It's a subliminal message. If I keep saying 5 in the next few reviews, it's because I have weights in front of me that say 5 for some reason.
I would probably give this a 5. Maybe if I'm feeling happy or generous, a 5.5. But
okay.
I think 5 is good. What would you give it, Lewis?
Well, I want to go into some of the things that I really love.
Oh, okay.
I love the pod race.
Okay.
Obviously, I already mentioned that. And I really love the spaceship designs.
Yes. That's one thing
Federation
I forgot
design, about. Freaking love that, because that was one of my favorite parts of this whole saga was spaceships.
Yeah.
Because I remember making the spaceships out of Legos and shit when I was a kid, and fighting off them and just throwing them against the wall and breaking them apart. And it was like, you remember all the crazy sound effects I used to do and all that shit. Yeah. It was super fun. Honestly, on 1 to 10, probably give it a 3. And
damn,
I would only recommend this to a child or a mentally challenged adult.
Jesus Christ,
to watch if you have not seen it already.
That is the meanest thing I've ever heard you say. Holy fuck. Oh,
at least I'm recommending it to somebody though.
Oh my god. Okay, child.
Episode 2.
A child. Or if you're a really hardcore Star Wars fan, and even then you're probably not going to like it, just disregard Lewis saying mentally handicapped. Just keep going on with your life. Alright, so the next one, episode 2, which is the Clone Wars, Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones.
On IMDb, it has a 6.7, so it is 0.2 higher than Phantom Menace. I strongly disagree with that shit. Attack of the Clones is the most atrocious film of the 6.
Well, to say everything, I don't remember anything of this movie.
Okay.
And I remember in theaters they forced me to go watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked out of the theater and asked for a refund probably about 30 minutes into the film. That's how bad this movie was.
That movie is so fucking bad. There's not...
I remember is something like the Oompa Loompas cloning thing.
Okay, we just mentioned, even though...
I was like, what?
Even though Phantom Menace is bad, it has some redeeming qualities to it. Attack of the Clones, to me personally, and I guess from what Lewis just said, is fucking bad. Do not watch this movie. It is so fucking atrocious. Okay,
I don't even know what else to say about it.
Lewis,
I really don't know anything else to say about it because I don't remember anything.
Lewis, and for the viewers that are watching right now, do me a favor. And Lewis, you could go watch this after we've finished recording this lovely video. Go watch the honest trailers. Okay.
Oh yeah, I've seen them.
The honest trailer for Attack of the Clones. There are scenes, that Anakin is talking to Padme, which is the woman that he loves, right? That he eventually, he marries into in Attack of the Clones. The shit he says to her is the most cringy, creepiest shit I've ever heard.
Oh yeah, he looks like a total freaking pedophile in this movie.
He really does. Like,
I
he looks like
he
he
has
wants
some
to
weird
rape her.
eyeshadow thing going on in his face, and he's all like weird looking. They tried to make him look like the freaking emperor, and he's not even a bad guy yet.
It's so bad. Like, they introduced...
It's so odd.
They introduced Django, which is the father of probably one of the most beloved characters of the original trilogy, which is Boba Fett.
That's what I remember from this movie.
His dad, Django Fett, right?
Yeah.
He's supposed to be a fucking badass. To give you some little back history of Django, he comes from a race called the Mandalorians, right?
Yes.
The Mandalorians are supposed to be these battle-scarred, badass race. Like, they're just ready for anything.
Yeah.
This guy
They're
just
supposed
gets...
to be like the Spartans
of Star
outer
Wars,
space.
basically. This guy just gets his head cut off by Mace Windu, who I fucking hate. He is the most...
Really?
Yes. And this is coming from a fan.
I think he has one of the greatest lines in the third movie, though. Like, he has such a great line.
What line?
Oh, we'll get there.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay, so... but to go back on that, yes, I do hate Django. Django is sorry, not Django. Mace Windu. He's a dick. And if you read the books, which I have, I've
never read the book, so.
If you read the books, he comes across like an asshole. He's like he's on his little mighty horse, and fuck that guy. But yeah, Django, he's supposed to be the father of this badass, and he just gets his head cut off. And just honestly, watch Phantom Menace. Do me a favor and don't watch Attack of the Clones. It's just read a synopsis. It's so bad. It's so fucking atrociously bad.
Yeah, it really is. I think the only thing I remember is that the whole visit to the planet where they make the clones and all that stuff.
Yeah, Camino,
was cool.
the one that's like, it's always raining and it's a sea.
Yeah, the windstorm and all that shit. That was really cool. And the landing of that. And seeing the what do you call it, Slave One.
Yeah, there are cool...
that was cool.
There are cool scenes.
That was the only thing I remember of it, though.
There are cool scenes.
Honestly, the only thing I remember.
There are cool scenes in Attack of the Clones, like at the end of the movie in the Battle of Geonosis, which is the start of the Clone Wars, which is what this movie is referring to, is like the whole battle in the stadium where all the Jedis are just in there and they're fucking wrecking shit up. And and it's cool. You get to see Yoda fight for the first time, which is kind of cool.
Oh, yeah. That was odd.
Yeah.
That was completely odd. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
Why is he flying? Why?
Yeah. No,
you
remember.
made him seem like such a badass just by standing like that.
Remember.
And then you make him go flipping around and doing some weird shit and like, ooh.
He does that shit, but don't get confused with the fight in the third one, which is coming up.
I remember that. I remember that one. That he doesn't do the flipping thing. He does the flying thing in the like the jumping thing.
Yeah.
It just threw me off, and then the third one was even worse. I'm not even going into that one.
Okay, so awful. If I would give a rating to Attack of the Clones, I would give Attack of the Clones like a straight up 1 or 2. That movie is fucking horrible. It's
I agree with you.
so bad.
There's no point in watching this. I don't recommend to anybody.
I don't recommend it to anybody, and this is coming from a really big Star Wars fan. Don't do that to yourself.
Not even to the slow people out there. No.
Like,
don't watch this. You'll regret it.
Attack of the Clones is fucking horrible. But alright, so
unless you want to lose your TV screen because the mentally challenged dude is gonna throw something at the screen. Yes, I'm very politically incorrect, and I'm sorry, but I say things straight up.
Holy shit.
And you'll get that in the next episode too.
Okay.
You'll see that straight up.
Alright, so let's go into the last one of the prequels, and that is Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Which it has a 7.7 on IMDb, so it's actually even further.
Okay, they paid for that one. You could tell they paid for that. That is
okay. So let me go into I know you fucking despise this movie, so I'm gonna go into what I like. God. I think that this is the best one of the prequels.
What?
The best one.
No.
And the reasons being for that is that you finally get some closure to the story of Darth Vader. You see how he becomes that, why he's in that suit of armor in episodes 4, 5, and 6.
In the most atrocious scene ever.
Yes, no, I agree with you. And there are some atrocious ass scenes in this movie. Yeah, that scene is fucking horrendous. What was that? That scene is fucking horrendous. And
that was atrocious. They ruined Star Wars for me by watching that. I was like, what the fuck did I just watch? What the fuck just happened to Star Wars?
Yep.
They just crapped the fucking scene out of their ass.
Yeah. No. I agree with you. I just think as a if you come into this watching it as a fan of Star Wars, or if you want closure to Darth Vader's story, you're gonna get it. I know it doesn't particularly pan out in the best ways, like the whole no and the fucking scene where he's like, I hate you, and he's fucking burning in the lava. But you gotta admit, the choreography for the fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan is pretty badass. You gotta admit, come on.
No, dude, I think the best thing that ever came out of this movie was me watching this in the theater.
Oh yeah, you've told me the story.
And there was this black guy in the theater that stood up and said, what the fuck is a youngling? I was so fucking... I just lost it laughing in the middle of the theater, and so did half the audience. I couldn't keep my composure all the way until the end of the movie. And that was the only thing that kept me in the movie theater, was the remarks that this dude was saying. It was fucking priceless. He was like, what the fuck, man? They killed the black guy. What the fuck? And oh my god, his racist comments were so hilarious towards this. He was going off about green people, about younglings. What the fuck is a youngling? You can tell this guy's never seen Star Wars in his life, but he was just there with his girlfriend on a date, and he was trying to show off, but it was freaking priceless. I mean, that was the best part of this movie.
So,
I think the only parts that I remember were the parts that this guy commented on.
So, I know I'm a big fan, and I know I may be biased, but it has its cool things. Like I said, it has a closure to Anakin becoming Vader. It has it answers the question of where the fuck are the Jedi in episodes 4, 5, and 6. They got fucking massacred. And
even the younglings,
according to this guy that saw the movie with Lewis. Oh gosh. It is pretty bad. I gotta say, I honestly have to say, it is, in my opinion, it's the best of the three, but that doesn't mean it's a good movie at all.
Oh
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. I just think it's the best of the three. Some of the fights are pretty cool. You get answers to some shit, but there are some fucking atrocious scenes like the I hate you and the fucking no. The no is like the moment in the film where I'm like, I'm fucking out, dog. I'm done with this shit. I can't.
Yeah. I walked out of that scene because that's it. It was almost the end. It was like, what, 20 minutes before the end or something like that?
I would love...
I was like, I'm done. I can't take this anymore. And the black guy stopped making jokes. I think he walked out of the theater or something. So I'm like, all right, I'm done.
I would love
out.
To go up
Fuck this. I'm done.
I would love to go up to Lucas and be like, can you please, just fucking explain to me what the hell?
What the fuck a youngling is?
What? No. What the hell was going through your brain when you thought that Darth Vader literally screaming "No" is good, you could have changed that scene and actually made it like much better. Like, oh, you killed Padme, and you could have been like, no, like angry, not like this, like this really cheesy, just like really long no.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
fuck
bad.
you, Lucas. Like, there are plenty of documentaries that you can find.
Oh yeah.
On YouTube of a storyboard of whichever prequel it is, and they give Lucas 2 highlighters, a yellow one and a pink one, and they're like, all right, the pink one is practical effects, the yellow one is CGI, and he just goes to town on fucking CGI, and like literally the camera looks at the guys and they're like, yo, what the fuck is going on right now? This is crazy.
Yeah.
Like.
Yep. And I mean, I forgot who it was that he went to see. I think it was Peter Jackson, and he's like, oh, you could do that in CGI. Why don't you do that in CGI? And he's like, no. I remember Martin Scorsese told him off because he told him that he should do CGI for one of his movies. I think it was Gangs of New York or something. And he kicked him off the set.
Look.
And Martin Scorsese, I don't know if you've ever seen any documentaries about this guy.
Yeah.
He is like brutal, freaking straight up casino freaking New Yorker guy.
Yeah, he's an Italian. Like, he's a straight up Italian.
And he tells you, he's like, oh, fuck you off, man. Get the fuck off my set shit. Get the fuck off here. You thinking about CGI and shit.
Look.
And then he goes around and does Hugo. Go fuck off.
That's a different story. But, okay, so if you want closure to the Star Wars saga, watch Episode 3. It's pretty cringy at moments, but if you want closure to certain things, and I honestly do think it's vital, not like Episodes 1 and 2. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Not like Episode 2. Watch 3. It has its bad scenes, but some of the fights are pretty cool. The choreography is pretty well done. Some of the space battles are pretty cool. Yeah, watch it. I would probably rate...
What do you rate it?
I would probably rate Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, like a 6.5. 6.5, probably.
I give it a 2.
Jesus.
With 2 big fingers up. That's what I think of it.
I give it a 2 and you just flick the screen off like it's just your finger.
And honestly, what do you think in summation, the prequels, how it revolved around the story? What did it add to the original series in total? And what do you think it's actually necessary to watch the prequels going into watching the original series and the new films that are coming out?
Okay. What does it add to the original trilogy? The most thing is who Obi-Wan is and who Anakin is, and why does Anakin become...
I don't give a shit about Obi-Wan. I really don't give a shit about Obi-Wan in these 3 movies.
Okay.
Not a single thing.
Well,
I'm just like...
If you want some backstory...
He could be a random Jedi for me.
Okay.
Honestly.
If you want some backstory to who Obi-Wan is because he's in Episode 4 A New Hope, then watch these movies. He's pretty important. And, of course, the biggest highlight of the prequels is Vader, Anakin. You want to know who he was and what led to him becoming this iron lung, basically, this walking iron lung. And,
I honestly, I thought that the whole story behind Obi-Wan in New Hope did such a perfect... It did it justice. I didn't need to know more.
Okay.
I really did not need to know more. But he came across as such a badass.
Yeah.
And then these prequels came out and I was like, what? What the fuck?
So
that's not the same guy that I remember watching, dude. Not the same fucking guy.
So before we get into the original trilogy, my last thing is, what does the prequels add anything to Episode 7, The Force Awakens, without spoiling anything? No. Nothing.
Okay, good.
Nothing.
Alright, so basically, I agree with everything Brendan says, except the fact that I don't agree with Obi-Wan at all adding anything. Actually, no, cross that off. I don't agree with anything Brendan says. The only thing I liked from the prequels was the random black guy that stood up and said, the younglings. What the fuck is a youngling?
Jesus.
Love that shit. And that's not even part of the damn movie. The other thing are just watching all-out battle sequences with all these crazy spacecraft. If you're into that and you're into just mindless fucking robots and shit, just like Transformers. If you love Transformers, this is the movie for you. Just mentally retarded movies.
Yeah.
For you. This is perfect. Michael Bay, eat your heart out type of shit.
All right.
Straight up.
So let's get into the original trilogy, and let's.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
Damn.
All right.
All right.
So
shit, my bad.
this is actually gonna come out on Wednesday, and then I'm gonna be releasing the original saga and the new film on Friday for Christmas.
Okay.
So, everybody, prepare. I'll see you guys in a couple days, and we're gonna review these films then. Okay?
Peace, guys.
Later.